Now let's see this statement. Some student in the class has taken operating system course. Okay. Now by looking at this statement, you can clearly understand that it is not for all, it is a there exists X kind of statement. Okay. Now depending on the domain, whatever you fix, you can convert this statement into propositional function. So let us say the domain initially is set of all students who are present in the class. Okay. Let me use a variable X. So let me write O of X as X has taken operating system course, right? Now in order to represent this one, some student in the class has taken operating system. What does it mean? The other way of writing it is, there exists at least one student in the class in such a way that he has taken the operating system. Therefore it is there exists X, O of X. This is enough to represent this given statement. Got it? Now what about X? The domain of X is all the students in the class. That is the domain of X, right? And now what if this is a domain D? Now what if I want to expand the domain? What if I want to expand the domain to everyone in the world? So if this is the class and if this is everyone in the world, right? Now how can I do that? So in order to accommodate it, we have to even include a statement which will test whether the given person is a student in the class or not. That is why, just to test that, I am going to add one more propositional statement like this, S of X. Okay, let us say S of X is a propositional function which represents X is a student in the class. Okay. Now how can I represent that one? So what is it we wanted to convey? Some student, which means there exists at least some student. So there exists some person in the world in such a way that that person is a student in the class and that person has taken the course operating system. Got it? Now you might get the doubt, why are you using and here? What is wrong with the implies? So you might feel that, you might think that, why can't we go with this? There exists some person in the world in such a way that if that person is a student, then that person has taken operating system course. You might get confused here. I'll explain the logic. Try to remember it. Otherwise, if you want to by heart it and just answer the question in the exam, just remember, whenever there is every here, then you are always going to go with for all and then implies. Whenever there exists some or kind of it, then you are going to go with there exists and. So anyway, I am going to explain the logic behind it. Try to understand this one if you could. Now there exists X, S of X implies O of X. The problem with this one is, this entire statement will be true if you are able to find out at least one value of X for which this statement is true, isn't it? This entire statement proposition is true if we can find out at least one X in such a way that this is true. Now what is that? This one has to be true, right? And now the problem with this implication is, this one will be true, this implication will be true even when this one is false. So in fact, whenever this one is false, this entire statement will be true. What does it mean? Whenever X is not a student of the class, which means for any person who is outside the class, for any person, this entire statement is going to be true. Now if you are able to find out at least one such person, this entire statement is going to be true. So what does it mean? Even if no one in the class has taken the operating system course, this entire thing is going to be true, but that is not what we wanted. What we want is, if someone in the class has taken the course, then only it has to be true. That meaning will be conveyed by this statement if you observe it. How? There should at least exist one person in the world in such a way that that person is a student, which means we have discarded the possibility that a person outside the classroom will make this statement true. Therefore, we are definitely going into our classroom, and when this is true, which means when we are inside the classroom or when we are talking about a person who is a student, then if this one is true, then only this entire statement is going to be true, which means if at least one student in the classroom has taken the course, then only this entire thing will be true. Right? It might be difficult for you to understand this right away in the first go, but as you practice more questions, see more questions, or at least okay, if you are not able to get it at all, then probably remember this, by heart it this way. If there is some student, in most of the cases answer will be there exists and. If there is every student, most of the cases answer will be for all and implies. Got it? Okay. Now let us see what will be the negation of this one. See, if this is some student in the class has taken a course, what will be the negation of this? The negation of this will be no student in the class has taken the course. See, when you are trying to talk about the negation, even there also some people will get confused. So let me just tell you in few, the two examples. Let us say the earlier example was every student in the class has taken operating system. What will be negation of it? Many people think that no student in the class has taken the operating system. No, that is not the negation. Negation is there exists at least one student in the class who has not taken the operating system, because that is what is going to negate the given statement. Right? And what about this statement? Some student in the class has taken the operating system. Now, when is it going? What if you try to find out the negation of it? What should it be? Some student in the class has taken the operating system course. The negation is no student in the class has taken the operating system. Right? It is all logical. That is why probably it is called logic, and it will be difficult for me to explain you unless you really have the logic, and you will develop the logic as you grow. If you are not able to understand it, just try to by heart it. Okay. Now let's see this one. Some student in the class has taken operating system course. What is the negation of it? So if you don't know how to write the negation of it, first you convert it into a form like this, then you try to negate it, and then you try to write it in the English language, you'll understand it. Okay. Now let's try to apply the negation over here. I'm just trying to apply the negation over here. Then what are the rules? I told you that whenever you apply the negation, there exists will convert to for all, and for all will convert to there exists. Therefore here for all x, right? And here if I apply the negation to this, then it is going to be negation of s of x or negation of o of x. Got it? Now you might not be able to understand it if I leave it like this. Better now you convert this entire expression into the form of implication, then you'll understand it better. Now if you try to convert it, what do you get? For all x, try to convert it into implication. So you know that P implies Q can be written as negation P or Q. Now how can you write this one? This one can be written as S of x implies negation of O of x. If you are not able to see y, you can see the reverse way. You try to convert it into or using the or, eliminate the implies and convert it using or. Then what do you get? Negation of S of x or negation of O of x, isn't it? If you convert it, you are going to get it. Okay. Now try to understand this one. For all x, S of x implies negation of O of x. So try to write it in the English statement. For every person in the world, if that person is a student, then he has not taken the operating system course. So what is the meaning of it? No student has taken the operating system course, which is nothing but the negation of the statement. Again, see this. For every person in the world, if that person is a student, which means we are entering into the classroom and we are discussing about the students. If that person is a student, then he has not taken the operating system course. Got it? So that is why I talked about negating this one, and earlier also I talked about negating the other one. So I hope you understood why these negations and these formulas are important, because most of the statements can be written either like this or like the earlier example. Got it? Okay.
Hi, if you are planning to do masters, then doing masters abroad is better than doing masters in India. I'll give you all the reasons. So first reason is, out of 1 lakh students who take GATE every year, there are only 500 seats in old IITs. So all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%, and IITs, universities better than IITs, they have very good acceptance rate like 30%, 40%, but all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%. And if you are working hard to get into IIT Bombay's ranking is 177 and IIT Roorkee's ranking is 400. If you are happy to get into IIT Roorkee, then getting into universities better than IIT Roorkee is easier compared to getting into IIT Roorkee. And looking at the salaries for computer science, for software jobs, if you have done your masters in computer science in US, the salaries are ranging from 80 lakhs per year to 1.2 crore per year. So even if you take an average of 1 crore per year, your savings will be much higher than the salaries in India. After taxes and your cost of living, you can easily save 40 to 50 lakhs per year. And in India, the maximum jobs that you get is around 30 lakhs. So your savings will be much greater than the salaries in India. And these are all the services that we provide. University shortlisting. So depending on your profile, we will shortlist what are the universities that you have to apply, and statement of purpose building, and then LOR guidance, and GRE and English test assistance, and education loan assistance. So you don't have to have any collateral, which means without any security, now you can get education loan. Getting education loan is very simple these days, and whatever the amount of fee that you have a range of universities. You can apply for 10 lakh universities, 20 lakh universities, or 50 lakh universities. But whatever it is, you are going to get complete education loan, and you can pay off your education loan in 1 year after you get a job. And then we do visa assistance, mock visa interviews, and then connecting with the university alumni. So now you might ask why we should join Game of Visas. So the answer is, we have 90% success rate, 99% success rate. And these are all the destinations that we guide the students to. So we guide students to any country that you want to go. So now it is not just USA. We guide to UK, Germany, Australia, Canada. So we guide students to all the countries. We work with all the destinations. And if you are interested in going abroad, you have to just drop us a message on this WhatsApp number 9494 555 454. Okay, thank you.